John Bullis here. Welcome to the channel. We're going to talk about short wedge shots here. So I'm about 30 yards from my pin and I want to think maybe 25 yards from my landing spot where I want to land that ball on the green. I see a lot of people struggle with a shot like this because they're not confident enough to put the speed in it requires, and they'll end up coming short, or they'll come back on their back foot and they'll end up hitting it thin. So it's actually quite a simple shot if you have the correct technique. I think the closer we get to the green, the more fine our skills have to be. There's less room to make up for anything, especially athletic compensations here. So I'm going to use my 58 degree, it has 10 degrees bounce, just a standard S grind, so there's nothing fancy. We got a tight lie here, and I'm trying to hit a shot that has spin on it. So how do you spin the golf ball? Everybody asks, how do you get the spin on the ball? How do you see the pros on television spin the ball? So first of all, let's talk about things that will create spin. The conditions of play are massive. You have to have a tight lie. If you're in a rough lie, it's going to be harder to spin it. Grass is going to get stuck between the ball and the club face, and it's going to reduce the friction. The friction, where the club goes across the ball, is what creates the spin. I have a premium golf ball here. A soft covered ball is going to spin more than a cheaper, harder ball, okay? That's why the better players will play a softer ball, because they want more control around the greens. So any of your top line golf balls are going to have more spin capabilities than a distance golf ball. The next thing that has to be present is dry conditions. If the ground were wet and my golf ball was wet, or the green was slick, straight away I'm going to get skids. That's going to reduce the amount of spin because there's going to be less friction when that ball hits the green. There's going to be less friction down here when I strike the ball, okay? So those are the kind of things. So we've said about the loft, 58 degrees loft. I have clean grooves. It's no good having a club face full of dirt here. The grooves remove any moisture, okay? If they're full of dirt, okay, you're going to get no removal of that water and the ball's not going to spin. So grooves will create movement of water to help you spin the ball. Now, how do we strike the ball? We're trying to get the wedge to go across the bottom of the golf ball, side to side. If I was to bounce the ball on my club like this, the ball is just going up and down, okay? That would be the equivalent of me hitting down on the ball like that. It's going to go forwards, okay? Now if you watch here, as I bounce this, if I start moving my club to the left, you start to see the ball start spinning. As I'm doing that, I'm creating sideways motion across the ball and it's creating this backspin, okay? So as I'm doing that, you'll see here, the ball is spinning sideways. Whew. There we go. That's what we need to create across the golf ball. So I'm not going to hit down, I'm going to try and get the wedge to slide across. So typically, I've seen a lot of people over the years ball off the back foot, and they lean this way, they push the shaft forwards, and now they're coming down into a hitting position like this. This is going to trap the ball is going to go low and hard. Or even worse, they're going to come back this way in an effort to get it airborne, and now they catch the blade. What I want to do here is stay quite centered, and I want a nice swinging club head. You'll notice here, the handle of the club is just outside my right leg, it comes through, and it's just outside my left. Okay, there's no swing, and I'm definitely not leaning this way. This is going to allow my club to swing further than the handle, and I'm going to be able to slide the wedge. So let's see how I do here. Nice narrow stance, ball in the middle. I'm just going to try and clip this off the turf. So that ball came out nice and low. Might have caught that one groove thin there. It sounded a bit clicky, but I had a ton of spin on that ball, okay? So let's have another look in slow motion and see how, when I show you this, the club is swinging quite freely and quite around me. So when looking at the setup from face on, you're going to notice here the feet are maybe 2 club heads, maybe a touch more than that in width, okay? I don't want to get too wide because that's going to move my center too far less way. So I'm going to be just about there. That gives me enough motion in the body to move as I swing my arms, okay? The ball's going to be somewhere near the middle. I don't want to play this back in the stance. So as far as the motion, you'll see here, club head swings. As it comes through, it swings and I scrape the ground, but I'm not swinging the handle. There's quite a big breakdown in the left wrist here, which is scary for someone if they're on their back foot, because that's going to be bladed. If I can stay pretty centered, I'm letting the club swing, my body reacts to the swing. There's no body driving here. The club is the king, okay? It's going to pull my body through. Let's hit one. So that came out a nice flight, had a ton of spin on it, and boof, right next to the hole. See there, there's no divot, there's no front edge digging in. So let's look at that in slow motion and just look at the way the club releases from here. The club catches up, it passes the hand. I'm not leading with the handle. So there you have it. That's the short, low flighted, high spinning wedge, 30 to 50 yards, somewhere in that area. Really get them zipping in, and you're going to learn to be able to get the ball to stop on a front pin. If it's further back, you're going to be able to hit it right up there with confidence. It's not going to go over the green. Okay, practice your wedges, and then what I want you to do is really important. I want you to start to look at the wear on your wedge over time. Obviously, there's going to be wear on the club face, and you tend to see a bit of a triangle towards the toe. That's where we're coming in, generally open face, the ball's riding across. Okay, that's cool. But I want you to look at the sole of my wedge. This is what is known as using the bounce, okay? If someone's digging their front edge, they're gonna have a big wear mark across the front of their wedge, okay? If you look at my wedge here, you can see right across the bounce. So here's the bounce, this curve here. The bounce is this angle that leans up. We've talked about this before in videos, but the wear is right there across the bottom of there. And I really, really want you to keep an eye on what wear pattern you have. If you're starting to get too much on the front edge, you're going to see the wear on the sole towards the edge. We want it right down the middle there. So I hope this helps you with your short pitches next time you're out. Covered a lot of cool stuff here, hitting low shots. They're those real ones that just fly in low, they grab the green. Remember, there's lots of things that are involved in spin. So if you're playing hard ball, not enough loft on your club, dirty club face, worn out grooves, wet conditions, all these things are going to take spin away from you, okay? So bear in mind, conditions of play will dictate how you can spin a golf ball with a wedge. Hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button down below, pass on some comments, and I'll see you next time.